Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. Big up to everyone that's locked in over on Chelsea Fan TV, and welcome to your daily transfer update. And as always with Chelsea, there's plenty of news to get into. We've got the latest on the pursuit of Matheus Franca. That Mason Mount saga is now officially all done and dusted. Statement from Chelsea, statement from Man United. He's been unveiled to be their new number 7. So that saga is put to bed now. There's been a few farewell messages from the likes of Reece James and Ben Chilwell. We've got Liverpool interest in Levi Colwill if he's to leave Chelsea this summer. Potential links with Roma's Paulo Dybala as well. And the latest on a front of shirt sponsor, as well as the future of Trevor Chalobah and Andrey Santos, is also wanted on loan by Porto. But of course, no decision is really going to be taken until after the pre-season, where it'll be assessed, and then we'll see what there is. Oh, there's also before I forget to mention it, Christian Pulisic, new improved bid from AC Milan. So maybe that'll be enough to get it done. Who knows? I think it's around £18 million. It's an improvement on their piss take offer of 12. So I reckon we might be able to maybe get a couple more million out of them, or a few more millions in add-ons. But yeah, let's wait and see how that one materializes. But I suppose there's one place to start. Obviously, guys in the chat, I'll get to all your messages in a sec. Make sure you let me know where you're tuning in from around the world as well, as always, people. Mason Mount, done and dusted now. It's boring. I know I say we're not going to keep talking about it, but this is I promise, guys, this is the last time. Final thoughts now that it's all done and dusted, and it's all finished. But Chelsea's statement, I don't know if you've seen it, but Chelsea's statement was pretty short. It was like 30 words from Bowley, and that was it. There was no acknowledgement that he'd even joined Man United or anything like that.
Yeah. No, I know. It's been funny, like just watching the last kind of couple of days and what's gone on, and especially like one thing that stood out to me was Chelsea's Instagram caption. There was something like, his association with Chelsea Football Club has ended. It was just all like very flat, and kind of like his video as well. And I think that there was so much more effort put into his message to Man United, and him arriving and going, oh, I'm so excited to get onto this project and win more trophies. And I feel like that was a more genuine message than the one that we received through his video that he posted. And I mean, look, I'm not heartbroken about it. It sucks. It's crap. And I just feel like I expected more with that message. I just feel like I am a bit disappointed. And I think he owed us at least a little bit more, especially after how many months, he was so silent, and we knew he couldn't really come out and speak to us too much while it was all kind of going on. But I almost feel like I expected more after he broke that silence. And it was just kind of like a flat video, which it just didn't really have much to it. Yeah. And then reading the message that he put out to Manchester United, the two were just very different. And then there you go. It's now red on Instagram. So like, do you know what I mean? It was just such a crap little video, and then that's it. And when you look at the likes of Loftus-Cheek, even like Kai Havertz's message and stuff, like they did it through words, like written, and it still seemed a lot more kind of sincere and like genuine, and coming like from the heart in terms of the message to the fans. And I almost feel like he kind of just chucked us in there as well. Oh, like, thanks to you guys too, like cheers for that. There was nothing for the fans at all. So yeah, no, I'm disappointed for sure. I don't hate him. I'm not gonna call him names and stuff like that, because frankly, like, I think I'm gonna be bigger than that. But I just think it was crap, it was shit, and yeah, just not happy with it.
Yeah, it was well disappointing. I mean, I don't really know what I was expecting, but yeah, as you say, like the fact that he pre-recorded it fucking weeks ago.
Yeah, that's
like you could so tell that it was read off a script as well. It was obviously auto cue or something, and like
he was like looking up as well.
He was waiting for the next bits to come down. I was like, you're better than that. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect English. Just say what you're feeling. It's as simple as that. But yeah, obviously it's all done and dusted now. Obviously messages from Reece James, Ben Chilwell, etc. And we can kind of move on. But yeah, it's all a bit underwhelming. I mean, there's a load of stuff coming out now about how Chelsea had offered like multiple contracts and whatnot. And again, there's still more disputes that the club saying one thing that Mount's camp don't agree with, and Mount's camp don't agree with what the club are saying. And it's all like back and forth. It's a bit childish playground stuff. I don't think we'll ever find out what the real truth of the matter is, but it's done and dusted. There's no point going on. There's no point going back over it again, but it's finally finished. And yeah, I guess we just have to move. We have to move on from that point of view. But yeah, it's all sort of like after all that sort of back and forth and stuff, it feels like it's just that's it and it's done. Very very underwhelming from a Chelsea and obviously a Mason Mount perspective as well. But we can move on to more important things now. I want to start with something I was talking about last night, but it was towards the end of the streams. I didn't really have time to go into it in as much detail. But I do want to talk about the defence, and I want to talk about Trevor Chalobah / Levi Colwill. Now, obviously, last night it come out that Newcastle are looking to, they're interested in making a move for Trevor Chalobah. He actually turned 24 today, so happy birthday to Trev. Obviously, like I'd like him to stay. I think he's got a lot of value to give to the side. 24 years of age, he's versatile. He's got a lot to offer. He's got his best years ahead of him. I think under Pochettino he could improve a lot as well. But then, like you look at it and you think, right, in a back four you need 5 centre backs. There's reports saying that Pochettino only wants to work with 4. You're taking a massive risk, and if one player gets injured, there's no rotation for cup games. We know that Fofana and Badiashile so far in their Chelsea careers have been very injury prone. So I think you're leaving yourself massively short. But on Chalobah, we'll get to Colwill in a bit. But on Chalobah, do you think it would be a mistake if he leaves the club? I mean, it's obviously the word going round is that Pochettino is happy for Chalobah to stay, but at the same time, if a suitable offer came in, he's not going to stand in his way to go, which is I guess okay to an extent. But I don't know. I think we'd be making a big mistake and leaving ourselves well short.
Yeah, no, I agree. I really want Chalobah to stay, to be fair. Like, he's never really been in my list of players that should be leaving Chelsea this summer. And, he hasn't been kind of great. He's obviously not started many games and stuff, but I feel like people forget how kind of reliable as well he was, how great he was. I'm pretty sure there was that stat that we hadn't lost. Like, how many games was it? Like, we had a really long streak of games that we hadn't lost when Chalobah had started. And, he was great, like, never had to question his loyalty towards the club and, like, his ambitions for the club as well. For me, proper Chelsea. Yeah, I'd say Trevor's proper Chelsea. I think he's been great. He's a good servant to Chelsea. He's still young and, he puts in the effort. So for me, I think he can absolutely be a Poch player. And I don't know. I mean, I wonder if he could earn his starting place in that back four. I mean, that is obviously going to be up to debate. But if he stays, then I think we should try and maximise his strengths to the fullest again, because I think there's a really good player in Chalobah there, really good centre back. And like I said, he's been solid. He's very physical. And yeah, he does make the odd mistakes here and there. He has done some stupid things. But, on the brighter side, I think the good outweigh the bad, if that makes sense. So on that note, I think he should stay. I don't have a problem with him.
No, I don't either. I just think like the defense is going to be interesting, like what the makeup's going to be, because of course, we know that obviously Fofana, Badiashile, Silva and Colwill are probably going to play the majority of the minutes. It'll be interesting to see what Pochettino does with Silva. Is he still going to pick him every game like he was picked every game under Tuchel, under Potter, under Lampard? Or is Pochettino going to look more towards the future and think, well, yes, this season's important, but Silva's unlikely to be in next season. So am I better off not playing him every game, maybe only play him in the big games, and then give those other minutes to the guys that are going to be here for years to come, like Colwill, like Fofana, like Badiashile, and maybe even Chalobah as well. But I mean, how do you see Silva being used next season? Because I think, again, we just expect him to play every game, but maybe that's not in the best interest of the club for him to play every game. And maybe, as I say, we could be better off distributing those minutes out between some of the younger guys. I don't really know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I get what you mean. Like, it can be a conversation to be had, but for me, Thiago Silva's got playing time for days in him still. Like, we know what he's like. He's been obviously player of the season for us. He's been absolutely phenomenal, and he's a great example for, any other centre-back that stands alongside him, left back, right back as well. He's just such an integral piece to our back line, and I think that, he's still got a season in him, absolutely, but we can't really be draining him to the max next season. And like you said, because we're going to have kind of younger players. Colwill will hopefully see as well there as well. And you do have the argument there. Is he kind of denying a younger centre-back there from kind of developing and being kind of used in Chelsea's long-term kind of successes? But for me, I think Thiago Silva can absolutely start in next season. Of course, we're not going to be playing nearly as many games as we were last season, so you've also got that on the table there. There are talks about maybe could Silva be our captain next year as well, even though it would just be, for a season, and he absolutely does deserve that. And then, we could give him the best send-off that we've had in recent years, and that would be all like great and smiles. But I absolutely do think that it's tricky. It is tricky, but like me being the Thiago Silva fan I would say let's have him there. And I just think he's going to be a great kind of leader there as well. Captain or not, Thiago Silva's a leader in that back line.
Yeah, he's got plenty to offer on the pitch and off the pitch, particularly to such a young pool of centre halves. I think other than Silva, the oldest is going to be Chalobah at 24. He just turned 24 today, so we've got early 20s in Cole. I don't think he's Colwill 20 yet. He might be 20. And obviously, Fofana and Badiashile are very early 20s as well. So actually, after that, you've got, in terms of age, there's a lot of youngsters there, and the defence is going to be like there's a lot of talent there, and it's exciting for sure. But there needs to be some sort of leadership, some sort of someone to mentor these young centre backs. Now that Azpilicueta's gone as well, that's one less kind of senior pro to mentor those players. I don't really know what I'd go with as the first choice defence, because obviously Colwill, which we'll get onto shortly. There's Silva, Fofana, Badiashile, Chalobah as well. Who do you think? Obviously pre-season will probably reveal a lot, but for you, who do you think should be the first choice pairing? We're obviously going to play a back four next season, I would imagine. I don't think they're going to spring a back three surprise on us, but who would you be looking at as the first choice partnership next season?
If I'd have to go, ideally, I'd probably say, because like we said, we've had this conversation before. I think experience is going to be equally necessary. And, we had a talk about what kind of is experience, but I think Thiago Silva is that. And because we have taken a lot of our senior players now have left. And like you said, we've got a very kind of young, you can say inexperienced, raw kind of potential squad there as well. So I think Thiago Silva would potentially be very necessary in there as well. But I'd probably go, it's hard. I like Fofana, but I also think that Badiashile hasn't kind of had or been, obviously he did start a lot of games, but I feel like he could and deserves a lot more playing time next season. But it's hard. I'd probably go, but I also like Fofana. So it's hard. I'd probably say maybe Colwill if we're going young, and maybe Fofana. I think that'd be a good, interesting pair. And then in rotation, probably Silva and Badiashile, perhaps something like that. I don't really know.
You don't think Silva's a starting centre back next season as a first?
Oh no, player? I do. If I had to go young, I'd go Colwill, potentially Fofana, and then if I'd go with experience, I'd go perhaps Silva and Badiashile. For me, that is a very kind of strong pair there as well. If we're talking about experience, reliability, great.
Yeah, I don't know. Guys in the chat, let us know your thoughts. Who do you think should be the starting centre-back partnership next season? Get it in the chat, let us know, and we'll go through it. I don't know. It's a tough one because, as I was saying, you do need to look towards the future. Thiago Silva is the present very much, but he's not exactly the future. I'd be shocked. If he, obviously he'd be 40.
He can stay till 50. He can stay
at some point next season. But at the same time, yes, he's the present, but we do need to look to the future. And I just think, yes, we want him to play because it's going to give us a better chance of winning games. But at the same time, you feel that because we're only playing once a week and there's not that opportunity of rotation in European games, and obviously there's only the Carabao Cup until the start of next year when the FA Cup comes in January. So there's not an awful lot of rotation. So I look at it and I just think, well, some players are going to be, and good young defenders who need game time to help develop their game are not going to be getting many minutes on the pitch at all, because at centre-back, it's one of those positions where you don't want to be regularly rotating your centre-back pairing. You want continuity there. You want to build a solid partnership, and you only really change it through injury or if you've got like a lot of games coming up.
Which you can argue, like Fofana, we've already seen he could potentially, I mean, God forbid, but he looks like he could potentially be an injury-prone player. So if he is, exactly, yeah, and we only kind of saw glimpses of, you know, he was kind of until early October, November, I believe, and then we didn't see him for ages after. He was kind of thrown back in there, and then I remember that when he returns, can't remember off the top of my head which game, but he was easily the best player on the pitch in a really poor game. Might have been Southampton, I can't remember anymore, but you know, he again is a young talent, someone that wants to prove himself. But you know, here we are having this talk, but we haven't even considered Chalobah in the centre back pairing. So it's a difficult one, isn't it?
I don't think he plays though, if I'm being honest. No. I don't think he's a starter. But this is the problem. Like, obviously, you've got to have a good squad and you've got to have good strength and depth for sure. But when you're playing once a week, it's pretty tricky because there just isn't the volume of games there. And you know, as I was saying, you got to make sure you've got continuity and in a centre back pairing. That's the last thing you want to be doing, is constantly rotating at the back. You know, it doesn't really matter too much if you. I mean, yeah, centre back pairing and a goalkeeper. Those are the main positions really that you absolutely do not want to be rotating on a regular basis. I mean, there is the possibility Chalobah has played in midfield before, but then again, we have got a lot of options there as well. So I don't know. It depends really, because yeah, all right, Caicedo comes in at Enzo, but then you've still got three youngsters. You've Gallagher's still at the club. Like, I don't know if Chalobah would really get much more of a look in the midfield. Lewis Hall by trade is a midfielder as well. So the defence is interesting because we've got a lot of top quality centre backs, which is a great position to be in, but not an awful lot of games to play them in, and not much option for rotation. So there's going to be a lot of very good players that are going to be left very disappointed. But I mean, what sort of, if Chalobah does go, I mean, what sort of a bid do you think is acceptable for him? Because bear in mind, he's 24, he's English international, he's still got 6 years to run on his contract until, he's got 5 years on his contract till 2028. There's an option for a further season. So he's potentially under contract until 2029. This is, like, we're in a position to command decent money for him. I mean, I don't think 50 million quid would be outrageous to say, but I don't see where we get that from.
No, that's the issue. I don't see that. I value him very high. If I have to place a price tag on him, it would be something of that sort as well, I'd say, because you said it yourself, you know, he's a young player. He's been at Chelsea, you know, he has had some absolutely phenomenal games, and like you said, 6 years on his contract, and we can afford him to make a profit out of him, absolutely. But I don't really see who comes in and pays that, especially when he's not been a regular starter. You know, he hasn't been first pick. He has had a few issues here and there. And yeah, but again, someone that's very comfortable in the Premier League, has played it up against the best kind of forwards as well. So you have got that there as well. We can't underestimate him for sure, but I don't know. I don't see potentially more than 40 million on Chalobah from another club at the moment right now at all.
I would imagine that 40 million is probably the maximum we could get. But would anyone? This makes it sound disrespectful, and he's not very good. I think he's great, but would anyone actually pay 40 million pounds for him? That's the problem. You know, Arsenal aren't looking for any centre backs. You know, United, all right, they could do with one more centre back, but I don't think they would be interested in him. Liverpool, no. And then you look at maybe Newcastle might do it, but outside of that, you know, 40 million pounds is still a lot of money to quite a lot of teams. So I don't really know where he goes. Yeah, Newcastle were considering it, but you know, I think Chalobah's happy to stay. So ultimately, like, unless a really good offer comes in that you can't say no to, then he's going to stay, which is great. And he's just going to have to fight for his place in the team, because it is going to be really tough to get any minutes at the back whatsoever this season, unless you're in the first choice pairing, or you're like the first option, or you're the first option on a rotation. It is really difficult. West Ham, I mean, are West Ham looking for a centre back? Maybe, but again, are West Ham going to spend 40 million quid on Chalobah? I don't think Chelsea will sell Trev on the cheap. I mean, I do agree it's going to be Silva's last season. No, I don't think I would. No, I don't think I would sell 30 million.
It's too low. That's too low. It's too low.
Given his age, given his versatility, and given like how much he could improve as a player. That sort of a bid is way too low. Like, you've got to be getting 40 minimum, and then there's a conversation to potentially be had if he wants to Yeah, they will, but they need to replace Declan Rice as well. And they need, I think Scamacca is going to go to Roma, so they need a centre forward as well. So, like, just because they've got the Rice money, you know, they do need to replace they could use that Rice money to probably get 3 or 4 players. I don't know if Chalobah is of the centre backs high up on West Ham's list, but yeah, 40 million would be fair for me. But I mean, let's wait and see what happens with Chalobah. I'd be more than happy for him to stay. I think the club would be more than happy for him to stay as well. But there obviously are suitors sniffing about. We know Inter Milan were interested, but they're not going to pay any fucking money like all the Italian clubs lowball us. So yeah, let's wait and see what happens with Chalobah. But I do think it would be a shame if he did leave. But let's wait and see on that one. Going from one centre back to another centre back. Let's go on to Levi Colwill then. Always lots to talk about with Levi Colwill, currently in action for the England under-21s in the European under-21 Championships. By the way, guys, if anyone knows what the England score against Israel is, let me know in the 21s. And how's Levi playing, if anyone's watching it. According to Bobby Vincent in Football London, Liverpool remain interested in Levi Colwill this summer. But Chelsea remain determined to keep him. Pochettino and Cole will sit down and discuss what is in store for him. Colwill wants assurances even, fucking hell, over the amount of first-team football available to him at Chelsea next season. What are your thoughts on Levi Colwill? I fully understand. It's 1-0 Gibbs White, decent. Fully understand that, obviously, as a young player, before you commit and sign a long-term contract, you want to have some sort of idea how regularly you're going to play. You don't want to sign a 6-7 year contract and just be sat on the bench. You need to know that you're in and around the plans and you're going to get a decent amount of opportunity to impress and then cement your place in the team. But at the same time, are Chelsea, do you think, in a position to just chuck Levi Colwill straight in and be a starting centre-back alongside, for example, a Thiago Silva? I mean, how do you look at it? Because as a young player, you want to be playing. Colwill, for sure, wants to have a successful career at Chelsea. But at the same time, can he really afford to not be a first choice this season? Maybe you look at it and think, right, does he have another development season here, play a few games here and then? And once Thiago Silva's moved on, he kind of steps into that role. I mean, how would you use Colwill next season? Because the preseason is going to be really important for him. And then do we just chuck him straight in? Has he proven enough at Brighton to warrant to be chucked straight in? Is he better than Badiashile? Is he better than Fofana? I mean, what are your thoughts on the whole Colwill situation?
I mean, mate, it's easy to imagine, but obviously, like you say, it's hard until, he's in the shirt and he's on the pitch and he's playing. Of course, there's no argument. There's a reason why he's such a highly demanded, highly rated, centre-back for a reason. And he can absolutely be in a position to request to be a regular starter, in my opinion. So, fair play to him. Absolutely. But of course, there is risks with everything. Like with everything, I mean, we most certainly should be keeping them. That is out of the question, like whether we should be or shouldn't be. Absolutely. And that's why I think that potentially maybe like starting to play alongside Thiago Silva would be a great starting point, in my opinion. Like I said, learning from the best, being like he kind of eased in Badiashile as well. Equally, I think Badiashile kind of was really eased in just because of Thiago Silva. They were, a great pairing, of course, both French speaking. I guess that helped as well. But he's a very influential person. So in my opinion, if he does start alongside Colwill, I think he could learn quite a few things. But it's hard to say, do you throw him in that starting lineup? But, he's got the talent. He seems to have the mentality at the moment from what we've seen as well. He's absolutely got the capacity and he's got potential for days to be, even better than he is already at the moment. So the project that we have at Chelsea at the moment is kind of advocating for that 1,000,000%. And I think he knows that because, he's seen the prospects that we're bringing in and continue to bring in, the age and kind of there is a pattern with the kind of the profiles that we're going for. And he knows that he can absolutely kind of develop and grow into that player, that regular starter in years to come. So for me personally, I don't think he should be I don't think he should be skeptical about, whether he's going to start or not, because I do see him being a starter at Chelsea 100%. I don't know whether he kind of hits the ground and running and is, that solid, but I think getting eased into that starting lineup with Thiago Silva as a start could potentially be something really interesting. And then obviously you've got, Reece James to your right, you've got Chilwell on your left as well. And I think it's a really great way to start, because like we said, we kind of we also threw Badiashile in there almost immediately when he came and he was starting regularly regularly, consistently, you know, and I guess that's how you learn and you grow. But for me, I don't think he should have any any kind of second guesses about it, because I think he is 100% going to earn that spot. And of course, it's just up to him to believe in that. But the process that we have going on at Chelsea is one worth trusting in terms of how we are developing young players in the next few years. So I definitely do see him being a regular starter, but whether it will be as easy as we think, it might not be the case, because we've seen it before.
I just want to address this quickly, right? Colwill's not requesting to be a starter. It's very normal at 19 years of age before you sign a 6-7 year contract, which is going to take you into the prime years of your career, 24, 25, to seek assurances that you're going to be part of the plans and that there's like a plan for you to be involved. You absolutely have to demonstrate on the pitch and through your performances that you deserve to stay in the team. But you as a young player, you absolutely have to assess the situation and think, right, before I commit myself to the next 5, 6, 7 years, is there a clear pathway for me at this team? Are you planning to use me? Will I get opportunities to impress to then keep myself in the team? Those are perfectly normal things. Colwill at 19 years of age is not demanding to be a starter. He is just making assurances for his career, like any player would do, that there's going to be an opportunity for him to get some first team minutes and cement his place in the team. He's absolutely isn't demanding to be a starter. I just wanted to clear that up. What we've got here. Harry's in the chat. Harry, hope you're good, mate.
Harry.
Yeah, good to hear from you, mate. Hope everything's going well. No, I've done that. Yes, bro. Had to be done. Went to the shop today and I saw Lewis in there doing exactly the same thing as well. So, you know, same ideas. What was that? Not that. England under 21s might win it. Yeah, they might do. What else have we got knocking about in here? Poch said, yeah, we're all good there. Thinking about his career. Yeah, no, we're done with that MM7. You enjoy MM7. Although we could have a new MM7 at Chelsea because Kante's shirt's not available. Mate, if Mudryk fancies that number 7 shirt, we'd have a new MM7.
MM7.
Yes,
sounds like a. Don't even want to comment.
Colwell's 19, already world class. Fair. I mean, I don't know that. I don't know enough about Levi Colwill. What do you make of Santos being linked to Porto for a loan move? Bro, we'll get into this in a sec. I just want to round up on defenders first. Let me just. Next season, Chelsea fans, you'll see different Mount, maybe. If you listen to his interview with BBC Sport last week, he said he needs to be a starter. Yeah, no, I appreciate that for his career, that he needs to be playing regularly. He's got aspirations to get into the Euros for 2024. I fully appreciate that. Now, he needs to sort of, sit down with the club and ascertain like what the plan is for him. And is he going to get enough minutes for him to get into the seniors? Well, I don't think... Nah, they didn't, mate. They didn't. I mean, they could have done. To be fair, if anyone from Chelsea's watching, they want a few more guys for the photo shoot. Let me know. But I think it's all done, mate. It's all done. Yes, Nick. Thanks for tuning in, mate. The club with 2 Masons. Oh yeah, Man United. Yeah. They aren't going to turn around and tell him he's not going to play. He'd be off like a shot. No, he would be, but they would also. I don't think they'd lie to him to get him to sign a long-term contract. Watch Brighton finish harder than us. I think as Colwill was a big part of that. He should have a good standing. He started with Brighton every week. Of course he was. I love Reece James so much. Yeah, agreed. Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, don't lie. You're getting sponsored right now.
Yeah. We're all good. We're all good. He said he doesn't want to be a backup. Well, no, again, yeah, he wants to play regular minutes. You obviously have to earn that, right? But I presume he's searching for the assurances that he's going to be given an opportunity in the team to earn his right to play regularly. That as anyone would do that in their career. Do you think Colwill definitely here next season?
Yeah, hopefully. No, we're not giving him. We're not giving him away. I mean, like, look, Brighton did they had their best efforts to try and keep the player, and we were adamant, said no. I don't see why we turn and suddenly give him to Liverpool. That's just not happening. Like, no. No,
I think he stays. But again, obviously after the 21s, he'll sit down with Poch. We'll do the pre-season, assess the situation. Hopefully, he signs a new long-term contract. I think he will be a massive part of the plans going forward. But again, it's all very well. Getting given the opportunities, which I think at Chelsea will give him opportunities and Pochettino will give him opportunities for sure. But it's then up to you to go and deliver on the pitch for Chelsea. Now, he did very well at Brighton last season. He did only start supposedly 13 games last season for Brighton, so he didn't play every game. I think he did well under De Zerbi, and De Zerbi used him well. But again, if he started 13 games for Chelsea next season, is that an improvement? I don't think that's a terrible thing. But again, what I would say is it's totally different playing at the back for Chelsea than it is playing at the back for Brighton. Teams are going to play against Chelsea in a very different way than they will play against Brighton. But I don't know. Look, I think Levi Colwill's a top player, but ultimately, impress in pre-season, impress when you're given your chance, and then you will be in the team and you'll get the minutes that you want. I think that's the easiest way to go about it. Just stand fight for the shirt. Right, what we're going to do now is we don't have any European football, so it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to rotate at the back. Chalobah, I'd sell him to Saudi. No, I wouldn't sell Chalobah. I don't think we should sell Chalobah. Yeah, this is my point. Is that it's all very well saying Pochettino wants four centre backs, but when two of those centre backs have already shown signs of being quite injury prone, or there's a situation where any player can easily pick up an injury for a few weeks. Yeah. You're leaving yourself very, very short. So I do think you need 5. Max, hello. What are we saying here? Will there be much squad rotation? I don't think there will. I honestly don't think there will. You might get 1 or 2 changes from game to game, depending on injuries, fitness, and whatnot, or maybe certain personnel. You might tactically pick someone else, but there's not going to be that many options. But yeah, anyway, that kind of rounds out the defence. Let's see what happens with Chalobah. Let's see how Levi Colwill impresses in pre-season, and then what opportunities will be given. If I had to say right now, will he start against Liverpool? Because I know someone's bound to ask that. Is he going to start against Liverpool? I would say...
I'd say no.
You're going to say no?
I don't think so. Unless...
No, yeah, I agree. He's not going to start against Liverpool. I'm going to say it now. He's not going to start against Liverpool. But I could be wrong. But I don't think Colwill will start against Liverpool. Right, let's move away from the defensive side of things, and we're going to quickly discuss Christian Pulisic very briefly before we move on to midfield and more pressing matters. What have we got here? This one here. Right, Christian Pulisic. AC Milan have made a second bid for Chelsea forward Christian Pulisic in a package worth up to 22 million euros, 18.9 million, so about 19 million pounds. Chelsea did say that they wanted 25 million. I don't know if we're going to get much more out of Milan than this. It seems mad that we signed Pulisic, 3 or 4 years ago for over 60 million pounds.
65. And was it 65?
I think it was maybe 63 with add-ons included or whatever. But that's kind of mad. Can you believe how much his value's dropped? Because that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, we spent more money on Kendry Paez, the 16-year-old Ecuadorian, than we're getting.
Oh my god!
Than we might get for Christian Pulisic, who's an established senior footballer. It is kind of weird. I mean,
yeah.
Are you surprised at how badly he's done?
I mean, to be fair, I'm not surprised that his value has dropped. I see why his value has dropped. I mean, it has dropped very significantly, but you can argue that over the span of time he's been at Chelsea, since 2019 is it now? We're in 2023, and what he has produced, and this isn't me being ungrateful. Look, I'm not going to lie and hide it. I'm not Pulisic's biggest fan, but I won't be ungrateful. He has had some great contributions, has been a vital player in Champions League, whatever. He has been good, but he's not been good enough to be valued very highly at the moment, if that makes sense. Over the course of the last few years, I said this, I think in my opinion he's been too costly in a lot of the games, in kind of both cup finals against Liverpool as well. And yes, I keep going back to that because in my head, if Pulisic had finished a lot of those chances, it never would have gotten to penalty shootouts, and it was always simple ones as well. And we always kind of place the spotlight on Timo for missing, Havertz for missing, but Pulisic, I truly believe, has been very costly as well with goal scoring.
Was that FA Cup final that he missed all those chances, or was it League Cup?
Yeah, FA Cup. FA
Cup final, was it? I swear it was League Cup as well. Oh, it was one of the two. Anyway,
either way, both.
He's just final, yeah.
Exactly, and it wasn't like everyone misses. It's a you got to be scoring that at the end of the day. It's stupid. It's simple. And what really bothers me about Pulisic is when you see him play for USA, amazing. Wow, baller,
Yeah,
captain,
but do you
great
think?
for
Yeah, but
USA.
do you think he benefits though from being the main man? And no disrespect to the US, I know they got a decent generation for them now, but because he's the go-to guy and everything goes through him, whereas at Chelsea he's just another name. Where for the
Potentially,
US,
yeah. I guess you could argue
he's
that
the main. He's the main guy, and like you see with Hakim Ziyech at Morocco, everything goes through him. He's the main guy. He looks like I was say he looks like a world beater, but he looks like a very good footballer. But then he plays at Chelsea and he looks crap. And it's the same with Pulisic. Obviously, a good footballer for sure, talented boy. Still very young. Still a lot of potential for him to grow into. And a move to Milan would be decent for him. But I just wonder if he benefits or likes it more when he knows he's the best player and everything's going to go through him. Maybe he thrives off that. Whereas at Chelsea, he's still a talented player, but he's just a talented player amongst a lot of talented
players.
Whereas
Yeah.
in the US, at the US, he's the standout guy. But I'm also a little bit surprised that there's literally no market for him. Essentially, you've got no clubs interested other than AC Milan and Lyon. Or maybe there are other clubs that would have been interested, but they don't see value at £25 million, which is also kind of mad as well. But I mean, yeah, he's obviously going to go. But do you think we can get anything more out of Milan?
No. Look how stingy they've been with even the boost up of the bids, which fair enough is better than the first one, but they really aren't gonna go overboard with it, are they? And we've also got to look at that financial perspective as well and think, well, who else is lined up? Obviously Lyon, that's no longer there, and who else apart from Milan's coming in for Pulisic? No one in the Premier League, no one in another club. So yeah, we really aren't in a position, unfortunately, to be picky and choosy. And to be fair, I hadn't actually seen it from that side of him being the main man. That makes a lot more sense. And of course, he has been unfortunate as well. I'm not gonna hide and stray away. He has had injuries and he's kind of been crawling back in and getting injured and then not starting and then being brought in for 15-20 minutes to spare in hopes to turn a game around. But he's never just been that guy. And yeah, there's been moments where we've seen his dribbling and we think, wow, Pulisic, that great, how'd you get out of that tight space? I've seen a lot of people kind of compare his dribbling to Eden Hazard and a lot of the times where he has showed glimpses of brilliance, but it's just been compared to obviously the fee we paid as well and just what we brought him in to do, it just doesn't quite match, and I just don't see him improving as well. So for me, that's just another goodbye. And we kind of cut that short for him as well. We should have sold him back in summer or even January, but obviously I just feel like we've kind of been dragging him along and pulling his weight, but it should have just been long done. With Ziyech, I kind of placed them equally, both on the same kind of level there in terms of what they have brought to Chelsea.
That's a good question. That who's done better for Chelsea, Pulisic or Ziyech? I mean, that's a tough one. Guys in the chat, let me know your thoughts. Who's done better for Chelsea, Pulisic or Hakim Ziyech? There's not much in it. Let me just get to a couple of things very quickly in the chat. Francis, thank you for the donation. Much appreciated. Thank you for your fair analysis always. Well, thank you. Just try and say it how it is. It's just opinions at the end of the day.
You're getting all these compliments today.
Compliments today, yeah. Model, fair analysis. Donation, fair analysis. Yeah, it's a it's
you are the main man.
No, I don't want to say that. I'm not saying that. If anyone else wants to say that, then they're more than happy to. I'll bring it up on the screen. Depends on pre-season. We got all. Oh shit, I'm well behind on this chat. Apologies, guys. Let me see. Caicedo, we'll get into that in a sec. 20 mil and it's a deal. If we can get 18.9, let's just add a couple more million to the add-ons and we've got a deal. Big up Chelsea Fan TV. Appreciate that, mate. Checked the wage bill and Bubba Rahman's contract's been terminated. He's gone to Greece now, so he's finished. But yeah, that's poor. Imagine if lockdown Pulisic never got injured. But the fact that you have to refer 3 years ago for Pulisic's best form is pretty poor. Literally wants to be Captain America. Just shows how poor our previous recruitment was. Bubba Rahman at 85k. Yeah, terrible. Big fish, small pond USA. Yeah, agreed with that, top bins. KSA man, big up. Pulisic won't get any better. I don't want to say he won't get any better because I think at 23 I think he's only 23, could be 24. But yeah, I think he can get better, but I just don't think he's going to get any better at Chelsea. So that's the most important thing that we're talking about here. He needs to get better at Chelsea. Let's see what the people are saying on that. Pulisic is no longer the expensive player he once was. Seems a player within himself. Fair. physically struggling in the Prem, maybe. So people are saying that Pulisic has done better. Rafael's still a main man at AC Milan. Nah, but yeah, Pulisic's not going about being main man, but Leao will play one side and Pulisic will play the other side because Brahim Diaz has gone back to Real Madrid. So they'll Project Restart alone does it, probably. Mate, if I'd love to be gaffer, but I'll be honest, everyone thinks they'd be a class gaffer. I'd be so shit. Like if we're being, I would. I wouldn't have any idea about the sessions or anything. I'll be all right on the touchline and that, but yeah, if we're being honest, the daily training stuff, I'd be shit. So
the boys gave it everything though.
It's a nice thought. No, I'd be all right in the press conference and that, but yeah, the actual football stuff, that's I'd be shit. Nice to chat with no toxicity or agendas. No, I appreciate that, bro. No agendas from me. Ziyech did have the banger against Spurs though. That is fair.
Oh, what the left leg top left bins, yeah. That was quality. That was quality. His left leg is sick. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like Ziyech, like he's got a very gifted left leg. You know, on a good day, his left leg crosses are absolutely unreal. And yeah, you can argue that he has
You mean his left foot crosses? Yeah, is he crossing with his leg?
Oh, go away!
Those left leg crosses from Ziyech.
His left knee crosses. Oh, it's too late, man. It's 6 p.m. Leave me alone. His left foot crosses have, on a good day been brilliant. And yeah, at times there's just not been people to meet him. And, that's a whole nother conversation. No one to finish his chances, blah, blah, blah. But still not good enough.
No, I agree. Wasn't good enough. And yeah, that deal with Milan will get done at some point. I think this week, hopefully that could be wrapped up, some sort of agreement. I don't think we're too far apart now on evaluation. I think we might be able to come to an agreement pretty soon on that deal, and Pulisic can move on, and then we can also move on from him. Do you think we need another winger? Because at this point in time, right, we've got Mudryk, Sterling, Madueke, and then we've got Nkunku who can play down the flank if necessary. And we've also got Jackson. I was about to call him Samuel Jackson then, not Samuel Jackson, Nicholas Jackson, the actor. And what's the other one? So we've got Pulisic, Jackson and Nkunku can fill in there. Or do you think with Pulisic going as well, do you actually think we need to get another out-and-out winger?
No, because I feel like there's even still enough rotation if necessary. And, for me personally, I see Noni Madueke occupying that right flank, hopefully. And then obviously Mudryk, Sterling potentially will be, competing for that left. I think Sterling probably will start at the start, at least anyway. I think Mudryk still is going to have to, fight to earn that spot as well. But I think he deserves it. He's got the potential for it. And I'm just begging and praying that Pochettino gets the best out of him as well. Because, he's a player for days as well, in my opinion. And then, of course, Nkunku, you've got another versatile player. He can play in the wing, can play as a striker as well if necessary. Don't think we'll utilise him as that anyway. But still, you've got a versatile player there as well. So, I don't know. I don't want to be in a situation where, too much, kind of less is more at times right now, at least anyway. But yeah, I guess with no, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a priority right now. I don't think so. I personally wouldn't.
I think we need one more in terms of not necessarily an out-and-out winger, but we need someone that can play as a 10 or down the side. Because realistically, you look at it, Nkunku's playing 10. Where's the other option to play 10?
That's true.
There isn't really. Yeah, right. You could try tuck Sterling inside or whatever. You can try and put Mudryk there, but it's not really ideal. It was like shoehorning people into positions. Whereas if we get someone, because obviously Mount and Havertz have gone, we don't need to replace both of them, but we need a replacement. We need those two that have gone out. One needs to come in that sort of attacking midfield position. And so I think we do need one there, whether it's Gabri Veiga, whether it's Rayan Cherki from Lyon, the 19-year-old. Like I think we need someone in there to come in and offer a bit more squad depth, because God forbid what happens if Nkunku gets injured, we're fucked in that 10 position.
Yeah,
it's like you're maybe putting Chukwuemeka there, or you're playing Conor Gallagher there. I mean, maybe the plan is for Conor Gallagher to be a rotation option there. I don't really know, but I think Chelsea would be making a big mistake if we didn't go for another one. But yeah, I mean, people going for Cherki. want a striker before a winger. We'll get into the strikers quickly as well. Oh yeah, the new Brazilian winger might be coming in as well, that Matheus Franca. I don't really know that much about him. I mean, just whilst we're on that, what are your thoughts on kind of the signing of all these young Brazilians? I mean, or more should I say, kind of the youngsters from everywhere, basically. I mean, do you think that's a good way for us to be going? I mean, because apparently this Franca could potentially be going straight into pre-season, and there's potential that he could be part of the first team squad and could be that Nkunku option.
Yeah, no, I mean, I said this. I do like what our recruitment kind of is doing with the, recruiting young prospects and stuff from around the world. I don't know much about the player, in all honesty. But of course, we saw that with obviously Andrey Santos as well. Obviously, got him from Brazil, didn't we, as well? So obviously, young rising ballers there. I mean, they're obviously going to get a pre-season, and then kind of who stays, perhaps who goes out on loan will be a question to ask. But yeah, it's hard for me to say because I haven't seen the player exactly. So he's a winger, is he?
Who? Well, Matheus Franca. Yeah, he can play like 10 or wing. So he's one of them like versatile forward players, basically. He ticks he fits the age profile and all that of the recruitment that we're
for sure. But then you kind of do have the argument, is it too much as well? There's nothing wrong with what we are doing in terms of recruiting, but are we going too overboard is also my kind of worry with that.
Yeah, true. I mean, I don't know. I look at it like in two ways. Like, we're obviously going for like a numbers approach where the more players you sign, the more likely that a few of them are going to succeed. So I guess like what we're looking at it, for me, we're looking at it from a business perspective, is that sign a load of these youngsters for reasonably cheap prices in this market. You develop them yourselves by loaning them out to Strasbourg or hopefully other clubs once we've expanded that multi-club model. And then if they turn out they're not quite good enough for Chelsea, they're still good enough to go and have a very good career elsewhere, and you make a healthy profit on those players. Of course, you're not going to make a profit on all of them, but that's one side of it. And then obviously the other side is that we hope that all these players work out and you get a load of really good players for cheap. But I don't have an issue with this approach. I also don't have an issue with the fact that they're separate budgets. When I see people say, oh, why are we spending 25 mil on Franca? But we say that we can't afford a goalkeeper. The budgets are separate. They've yes, you can adjust budgets and whatnot, but there's separate budget has been put aside for this kind of development signings. This is not coming out of the first team budget. I understand it's annoying as fans when you see that we haven't really got any first team signings come in properly apart from Jackson, and you just every other day you see it's another random Brazilian coming in. I get that. But the budgets are separate, and they have plans for all this anyway. So look, we'll wait and see who it is. I'm slightly conscious of time that it's already been 48 minutes, and there's a few more bits to get through. So we are going to get onto that now. There was something about Sterling that I was going to bring up. That's not an unpopular opinion. Bro, that's not unpopular.
Not unpopular at all.
He's obviously not going to be sold this summer. But if he has another season like he had the season just gone, then he can go next summer for sure. What else is there going on in the chat? We're going to move on to midfield in a sec. Sterling's finished. Are there any other things that I need to have a look at? Getting those gems before they cost 80 mil. Yep. I prefer Pochettino, Santos, Carney, and Casadei a closer look in pre-season before loaning them out. I think those three, they absolutely do have potential. Right, let's get on to Andrey Santos then. But guys, before I do that, 48 minutes, and I haven't once mentioned about smashing the likes or subscribing. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do a little shameless plug or whatever. It's not really a plug, but anyway, guys, make sure you hit the likes. Only 44 likes with 70 of us locked in on my channel, guys. We can do better than that. We need to up that conversion rate. So don't be shy. Hover over the thumb button, give it a little click. You get involved in the chat pretty well. So you can just hover over, give that like button a click, and it massively helps me out. I do really appreciate it. Let's try and get this to at least 70, 80 likes if we can. Only on 45 at the moment. So let's get those likes up, people. And the same over on Chelsea Fan TV as well. Let's get it 100, 150 plus likes, guys. And make sure you subscribe to both channels as well. It is greatly appreciated by myself and everyone else at Chelsea Fan TV as well. So if you could subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. And also, guys, make sure you subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV. Trying to get to 200k as quickly as possible. Not a million miles away now, so every new subscriber does help on that front. So guys, BGM Risk, you're great people. I don't know, I do know some of you, but you're great people. Always get involved in the chat, interacting with you. But make sure you subscribe to both channels, people. And if you really want to, let me know in the chat. Just let me know when you've done it as well, and I'll give you a little shout out. What more of an incentive do you want on that? By the way, Nina, someone thinks you're called Sophie. I hope it's not me.
Well,
yeah.
Last time I checked, it's not Sophie.
I'm not flexing the kit. I am wearing the kit. Yeah. It is nice. I'll be honest. It is nice. So if anyone wants
to showing off,
if anyone wants to go and buy it, you can use my discount code. No, I'm joking. I don't have any discount at the club. You can get 10% off. You can get 10% off of your membership though. So make sure if you're a member, make sure you let them know at the till, because they don't tell you. They don't volunteer that information because they don't want you to get 10% off. So if you've got membership, make sure you let them know, because you won't get your 10% off otherwise. What else have we got going on here? Oh, another one. Yeah, got the new training top. Looks good. Yep, cheers. Where'd you get the...
I'm going to set up a little GoFundMe so I can get the training kit as well.
It was in the comments. It was from the club shop. I went down today, but you can get it on the Nike website, get it on the Chelsea website, wherever. Anyway,
you really didn't wait around, did you? It literally dropped this morning, didn't it?
No, it didn't. It was like yesterday, I think.
Oh, what? Yeah, what? Oh,
no time like the present. I'm not going to sit back and watch everyone else buy it and then go down to the shop and it's not there. That's not Sophie.
Thank you, mate. Yeah. Thank you, Death Gaming. Appreciate that.
Jealous already. Fair. Yeah, true. Yeah, you need to get one, mate. Anyway, this is right. I'm getting slightly sidetracked with this shit. Right. Anyway, let's move on to Andrey Santos. Enough about the training kit. What are we saying? Where is it? Have I just got rid of it? That's pretty peak. Have I just fucked that? I'm gonna get that back up in a sec, people. Anyway, Nina, what are you thinking about Andrey Santos? Potential loan move to Porto. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think it's the right thing?
I don't know. It's hard to say because they're still all going to get pre-season though, right? Or is that going to be?
Yeah, they're all going to get pre-season. Yeah.
Yeah, see, what's the thinking behind this? Because does that mean if Santos goes on loan, does that mean we get to potentially see Chukwuemeka, get that starting position in midfield? I don't know, because of course we're going to have a look at all of them, Casadei as well. But from what I've seen from Santos, he already looks like he's at a very high level. He's obviously you're looking at probably one of the youngest, best talented players at his age at the moment as well. Obviously had a great season at what team was he in Brazil? Can't remember now. It's left my head. Yeah, that team. But yeah, from what I've seen, he looks very impressive. He looks like he can play alongside senior players as well. So I don't know if age is that much of an issue for him. But of course, he is going to be a bright young talent. I think we will utilize him. Obviously, going off on loan, you get to develop as a player. And obviously, he gets to play in a different league before he plays in the Premier League as well. So you've got to look at it from that side of things as well, which could be a positive. But it's hard to say. I don't know. I'm quite excited about Santos, and I almost feel like I want to see him in a Chelsea shirt next season already. But then again, I trust that Pochettino will make those right decisions for us, and I'm fully backing Poch now. So whatever the gaffer says is whatever's right. But yeah, I'm excited about him as a player for sure. Definitely, I think he probably could benefit with getting that experience. If we are talking about experience. Obviously in Porto's not a bad team either to be at, I don't think.
Champions League football as well.
Exactly, there you go. So if you want to...
Something we can't offer, unfortunately.
I wasn't going to bring it up. But you had to do...
Everyone knows that we can't offer Champions League football, and that could be much better for him.
That's what I'm saying. If you look at it from that aspect, it could be very positive. You gift him that experience there as well, and then he comes as a much better player for us in the future as well. And obviously, we're developing a lot of young players. You've also got that argument there. Is he ready? For that role at Chelsea?
there's only one way to find out. Like at some point, we can't keep saying, "Are these guys ready?" and then not try.
Well,
them.
yeah, but you can't know until you see it.
You're not going to know until we see. But ultimately, like if Caicedo comes, I'm going to say when Caicedo comes in, because I'm pretty confident he will come in. I just got that feeling. I can't see us messing that one up. And then you think, right, are we going to sign another one? Or are we going to give Andrey Santos a chance? Are we going to use Chukwuemeka more? Is Casadei going to have an outside shout? Is Conor Gallagher still going to stay and be part of the club? Like, these are all the big questions. But Fabrizio was saying that Porto have appreciated Santos since January. They asked for him twice, but at the moment, there's no agreement with Chelsea. Porto like him, and they'd love to have him on loan, but Chelsea have not decided anything yet. So Porto's going to see him in pre-season and then decide. I think a lot of this is going to depend on who comes in as well. Like, if we only get Caicedo in, then Santos, for me, is not going anywhere. But if we get Caicedo and another one, then I think there's definitely space for him to go in as well. I think there's space for him to go in. But, I mean, just on the midfield, right, because do you think we need more than one? Because I did think this initially, and then I've slightly swung round to the idea that actually maybe we don't. Do you think we need more than just Caicedo?
I don't think it's at the end of the world. I think we can do it too. We can do Caicedo and Enzo. I don't think it's the end of the world if we don't bring in another one. But then it kind of also means that we can change formation as well. It does give us a little bit more options potentially. But I don't know. I wouldn't say it's my priority. If we get Caicedo, I think I'm going to be more than happy. Like, for me right now, it's just the most important deal in this summer transfer window. I keep banging on about it. I will continue until I see the here we go for Caicedo to Chelsea. And for me, that will be a job well done. So I wouldn't be itching on. Perhaps when Lavia was an option for us, a couple of weeks back, then I was considering it. I thought maybe, bringing Caicedo and, Lavia as well could potentially be a good idea. But now that that's kind of off the table, then I'm not too bothered, I don't think, right now. And obviously we have got options there as well with the youngsters that we've just spoken as well in rotation there as well, potentially.
I look at it, right, and yes, it'd be great to have two midfielders in, but then I think about it, when you're linked with someone like Romeo Lavia, who's only 6 months older than Andrey Santos, he's got one season in the Premier League and he's decent, but from a Chelsea perspective, like, is it really worth spending 40 to 50 million pounds on Romeo Lavia when we've got someone who could be just as good, if not better, than him? On our books already? Is it really worth spending 50 million quid on Lavia when we could actually give those minutes to Santos? We could split those minutes between your Santos, between Chukwuemeka and whatnot, and that might be a better use of the minutes and whatnot. If a decent midfielder is available on the market, yeah, sure, go for it. But if we're literally looking at Romeo Lavia and we're looking at maybe Manu Kone or Kefram Turam or whoever it might be, like, there's no real standout names out there that we appear to be looking for. Caicedo is going to be our main midfield signing. So I'm almost thinking, like, once we get that done, let's see how these youngsters do in pre-season.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, I just want to say on that point is, what you do with with bringing as well someone like potentially maybe Lavia or whoever else it may be, you are risking kind of taking those minutes, like you said, away from the players. So we're kind of going back on ourselves. We say, we're trying to give these players a lot more playing time. We believe that they can kind of, your Santoses, and they can fit into that squad as well. But by bringing in potentially someone else, you're kind of then denying that for them. Then we'll be seeing them on the bench more often rather than trying to fight and earn their space to be in that starting 11 as well. So we kind of will be faced with that issue of, well, do you know what I mean? Like, well, we've just benched those players that we're trying to mold right now and turn into good long-term projects.
I don't know. It's a tricky one because, like, people were like, "Oh, buy another midfielder," and they're like, "Oh, buy Lavia." But Lavia, as I said, is only 6 months older than Santos. So is Lavia considerably better than Andrey Santos? I haven't watched enough of Andrey Santos to make a definitive answer on that, but I wouldn't say that Lavia is levels above Santos. I don't think he is. So, look, whilst of course it would be a gamble to go into the season with Enzo, Caicedo, Gallagher, Santos, and let's say Chukwuemeka and Casadei goes on loan, it would be a slight gamble to go with those 5. But as I've said before, at some point we've got to start backing ourselves and believe and start believing in what we're actually doing and believing in our recruitment process and believing in the route that we've gone down. There's no point signing all these guys and then looking to spend more money to get midfielders in that are ready now. You know, we have to start believing in what we're going to do. And if that means right now, chucking in Santos, chucking in a Chukwuemeka for more minutes or whatnot, let's believe in what we're doing and let's see what happens. Because ultimately, the midfielders that we're looking for, like, why spend £50 million when we've got something in Santos, maybe in Chukwuemeka as well, that is just as good as anyone that we could potentially get for 40 or 50 million pounds. I mean, do you think it's a gamble to not sign anyone else?
No, because then, like you said, we're not believing in what we're trying to do for the future. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, you know? I just know that people. I just know that people won't be happy if we only sign.
But people are always going to want more.
They're always going to want more. But yeah, it's true. We got to start thinking about it. We are absolutely not.
Let me remind you that as soon as Koulibaly walked out the door, people straight away went, right, we need another centre back, and that's just always the issue. Exactly. But there you go. Like, people will always say we do need more. It's just that kind of insecurity that you look around. Yeah, our players are young. Yes, absolutely. But you know, this is the whole project at Chelsea. So if you're struggling to kind of accept that, then you're not really going to enjoy kind of next season as well. Because let's be real, it will be bumpy. That's for sure. It will be better, but it won't be, amazing straight off the bat.
No, it's going to be amazing. Just want to clarify, people keep going on about Federico Valverde. Valverde is not leaving Real Madrid. And if he was leaving Real Madrid, he certainly wouldn't be coming to Chelsea. So I just want to put that one to bed. In terms of not Romeo Lavia, experience is like this experience argument is, I don't say it's annoying. Actually, do you know, it is slightly annoying because we had experience last season. Kova, we had experience in Kovacic, in Koulibaly. We had loads of experience last season. What did the experience get us? Nothing. Experience isn't just age. Experience is like, can you do it in the big moments? Have you stepped up in the big moments? We do have experienced players. Like, everyone's crying out for us to sign Moises Caicedo. The guy's 21 and he's played less than 50 games for Brighton. And we've got people banging on about experience. We're not exactly signing experience in Moises Caicedo. We're signing a very good player with a high ceiling and high potential, but you wouldn't put Caicedo down as an experienced signing. But no one's saying anything bad about that. So why do we keep banging on about experience when actually we do have experienced players there? Experience is not just about how many games you've played. If you're going on about experience, we should have signed fucking James Milner at 37 on a free transfer if you're talking about experience. So I understand what people are saying to a degree, but there's only so far this experience argument goes. Like, we were shit last season with experience. Who's to say that, we can't do well with the guys that we've got? There is still some experience there. There's experience in Thiago Silva. There's experience in Kepa. There's experience in Raheem Sterling. Ben Chilwell's 26 now. There's experience there. There's experience in Reece James as well. Like, we do have experience. Enzo Fernandez, World Cup winner, Copa America winner. Like, we have experience in the big moments. Yes, you look across the pitch and you don't think, oh, there's leaders everywhere. But they're players that have done big things in their careers, and they're players that have experience. This idea that we need to go and sign experience, I'm not necessarily buying it. I'm just not buying it. Is Lavia experience? No, he's 18 years old. He's not experienced. True. Yeah, hope all's good, bro. All's good, mate. I'll be okay with just Caicedo, 1 game a week. Yeah. Next summer is a summer to spend on more established players. Yeah, for sure. Romeo Lavia is a good player. He's a good player, but it's like, I think we'd be better off just keep using Santos rather than spending on Lavia. Haaland's swap deal for Broja is never going to happen. We're not playing FIFA. We have experience in Poch. Yeah. Experience is that winning mentality and personality. Fair. Caicedo could end up flopping like Basuma did. No, I don't think so. I think Caicedo is very different. He looks a huge prospect. There's no two ways about it. Let me just bring this one thing up. What's that? Oh, I suppose I don't need to bring that up. I forgot what I was saying now. Yeah, the experience thing. We need a settled squad with balance. We need a style of play and a decent coach. Experience is meaningless and none of this is in place. Yeah, for sure. No, I agree on that. Yeah, but of course. But Caicedo can come in and have a similar impact. I'm not saying Caicedo's as good as Casemiro is, but he can absolutely have a similar impact. Like, you don't have to bring a vastly experienced pro in to have a lift in your team. You really don't. And this is the thing: if you're good enough, you're old enough. It's simple as that. You know, that is ultimately the reality. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you're good enough, you will play. It's as simple as that. So this idea that, you know, we need someone that's 26 or whatever, or 27 or 28 or whatever it is. This is not necessarily true. Cherki or Wirtz? I'll go Rayan Cherki. A big fan of Rayan Cherki. Right, I wanted to move on to one more thing. Thoughts on this? Where is it? Is it Paulo Dybala? No.
Oh, is that true though? Is it? Because I've not. Up until today, I had nothing.
I don't know how
about
true it is.
Dybala.
We're going to go with it anyway. Mauricio Pochettino has reportedly included Paulo Dybala on his transfer wish list at Chelsea. His release clause for clubs outside of Serie A is only 12 million euros. So I think it's just under 10. It's just under 10 million pounds. He is slightly injury prone, but I think this would be a massive signing. This would, like, I'm not saying there's any concrete links to this at all. But at the same time, do you think it'd be a decent move to get Paulo Dybala? I almost look at it and think, for that cheap, if we were genuinely interested in him, and he's obviously a top player, we could do a lot worse. Do you think this is something we should look at?
Yeah, I mean, if this is actually true and like we would go in for a pursuit, that would actually be well exciting. I think Dybala, I rate Dybala. I think he's, you know, he can do wonders, and he is a young player, very successful in recent. I think I wouldn't have issues with that. I can already picture Dybala in a Chelsea shirt, in fact, and I don't know though. Would he want to leave and come to Chelsea? Would he want to leave Roma? I don't know. I just don't quite see that happening.
He's got things pretty good at Roma in terms
of I just don't see.
He's playing with Jose and that, which is obviously great. They got Europa League football. He might be quite settled in Italy. Maybe Argentina.
That's what I'm thinking.
But maybe like Pochettino being Argentinian, we got Enzo Fernandez as well. Maybe he might be tempted with the Premier League. He's Dybala's not 29. Is Dybala 29? Surely not.
No, surely not.
There's no way. He can't be 29.
He's 29.
He's 29. I feel like I've been watching him for years. I thought he was like, fuck, he's 29, is he? I thought he was about 25.
I did not know he's 29. Jeez. No, but I just think he's pretty settled at Roma, and to be fair, I'm kind of rooting for what's going on for him there at the moment. So I don't
know. I don't think it would be bad. The only issue is though, is like, one, he's not really fitting into the age profile that we seem to be buying at the moment.
Well, clearly not. He's 29.
And two, like, another problem we've got is like, what sort of wages is he on? I can't imagine he's on massive wages, but would he buy into the experience? Like, would he buy into that wage structure where he's probably could be earning a lot less money than he's? I don't know if he'd be earning less money than he's on at Roma, but would he be prepared to fit into that into our wage structure? I don't know.
I think that on him personally, on a personal level, would be a high risk move, in my opinion. Just for him,
you think it's a high risk signing?
For him, no, not for us. I feel like for him, on a personal level, he could view that as a high risk signing. I mean, look at it, going over to the Premier League, joining Chelsea at 29, if you're 29 at the moment, to a very problematic side. We're pretty much starting a new rebuild here. You've got to believe in the project as well at the end of the day to come over. And I'm just thinking, you know, having been at Roma right now with everything that's gone on for him recently, I just don't see that happening. Got a good relationship with his teammates, Jose as well. I just don't really know how you don't. Well, I'm speaking on him on a personal level. I don't see how he thinks, oh yeah, that'd probably be a good move, unless he wants to experience the Prem. Obviously, playing for Chelsea, and maybe if we are talking about experience, kind of exerting that on the team as well. I don't know if you look at it that side, but if I was Dybala, I probably would think it's a high risk.
Yeah, it probably is. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'd like him to sign him. I mean, I don't know how true this is or anything, but I just thought I'd bring it up anyway. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's terrible. But again, it's exciting because it's Paulo Dybala and he has been a great player. And you think like for a rotation option for Nkunku, can also play through the middle, can play wide as well, can pretty much play across the front line, which is obviously which is important for us. So I think it ticks boxes. I would say it's pretty risk-free at 10 million quid roughly. It just depends. Does he want that? Would Chelsea genuinely push through with this with this move? I don't know. It's a tricky one to get right. I don't really know what the answer is to that. If we're being honest, we do need someone, but again, he is quite injury prone. Like he does miss a lot of games through injury, and
that's just not what we need. It's not what we need, really. But I mean, there's like with everything, there's pros and cons to it. I just think maybe in the situation, just with like purely based off like what direction we're heading at and like the project that we have, then he doesn't quite necessarily fit that profile. But then at the end of the day, you also maybe want a player like that to shake things up. Maybe you want a player that can perhaps bring something different. But I don't know. It's a strange one. But just as a Chelsea fan, I'd say, go for it. But I think if I was Dybala, I wouldn't come to Chelsea.
No, I would agree on that. I mean, if the club want to go for it, then let's do it. But I can't see Dybala wanting to do that. And the fact that, there's this, everyone knows about this release clause for 12 million euros to clubs outside of Italy. The fact that no one's gone for him, I think that perhaps tells you a little bit as well. 12 million euros for a player of Paulo Dybala's quality, of what he has done as well, is like, you'd think if he was as good as, if people rated him that highly, there'd be so many clubs all over this at 12 million euros. But there, at this point in time, there just clearly isn't. I mean, I'm not against it, but I reckon it would be a little bit. It's one of them, isn't it? It's one of them. It's not a terrible move, but I think we could probably do better. And as you say, it doesn't really fit the options. It doesn't fit what we're looking to do. So if I had to have a guess who it would be, I'd say it would be Rayan Cherki or it would be Gabri Vega. It would be one of those two. But yeah, let's wait and see. I'm going to be checking if there's any other news. By the way, guys, if you've got any questions you want to get in quickly in the chat, last couple of minutes before we round this one out, do get them in quickly. I don't think there's too much more news to go through. Nina, how excited are you for, because pre-season's now kind of geared up now? We're seeing in the training photos the guys are back in the building. Well, not all of them just yet, but majority of them. You feeling a bit more excited now? Feels like the season's sort of like we're arriving again.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's exactly the case. I'm excited. I just feel like, I keep saying this, it just feels like a new kind of fresh slate now, for real though. It's nice to actually have a manager. No disrespect to Frankie or Potter, but having a manager that actually seems to have a plan is a great starting point, in my opinion. Because, I mean, I too was very impressed with his interview. Pochettino, he said all the right things, everything that he needed to say, he said, was delivered with confidence. But I just love the fact that he has his priorities straight and he recognizes that Chelsea Football Club is not at the level that it needs to be at the moment, and he's got an idea and he's got ways and plans of bringing that again. So I'm just really excited for pre-season, see how he gets on with things. But I just feel like I'm not going to get too overly optimistic, because how many times, Charlie, did me and you sit here last season and think, this is the one, or this is where it gets better. But well and truly, I think now we're actually on the right track. I feel like last season was just a mega error in a trial and error process, which absolutely delete, like get rid of, ban, whatever. But I feel like this is where we truly kind of start this project that Todd Boehly kind of gave us glimpses of, told us what it is he wants to do with Chelsea Football Club, where he wants to take us. And now that we actually finally have a manager that is able to do that, I think we're on a much better route for sure.
No, I'm excited. I mean, I always get excited at the start of the season. Need to sort of not get too carried away. But yeah, there's definitely promising. Most of the outgoings are done. We've got a few more to get out of the building. But let's hope this week we get some big news on some incomings. Like I said that on Monday. It's already sort of, it's not end of the day Wednesday, but we are getting towards the end of Wednesday. And there doesn't seem to be any further negotiations or any further breakthroughs on Caicedo or any other incomings for that matter. So yeah, it's exciting, but we do need to start to get a little bit of a move on now. We need some more bodies in the door. We've got until July 17th until we fly out to the States. We've got 12 days. Caicedo must be on that plane to the States, as must as many of the other new signings as possible. Otherwise, it's just like it's a mess. We've got 12 days to sort ourselves out and get these signings done. But yeah,
it's doable though. It's doable.
It's definitely doable. But Caicedo feels like it's been dragging on for like at least a month already. So yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, guys, thank you. Is Kolo Muani real? He's a real person. Yes. The links. He's supposedly on the three-man shortlist with Lautaro and Dusan Vlahovic. Let's wait and see on that front. There's not really any more update on a striker. I don't think we'll get much more update on a striker until after pre-season, if I'm being honest. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for getting involved in the chat as always. On the way out, people, make sure you smash the likes over on both channels. How are we doing on the likes here? We've got 66 likes. We can do a bit better than that. Let's get this to at least 80. I think we can get to 80 on the way out. That's only 14 more. There's definitely 14 of you in it that haven't clicked it. So make sure you just smash the likes on the way out. Do exactly the same over on Chelsea Fan TV as well, guys. Don't be shy. Make sure you subscribe to both channels as well. I will pop both links in the chat right now. If you could subscribe, I'd be very grateful. Nearly at 4K. Well, loosely nearly at 4K. Well, actually, no, it's about 400 to go, which sounds like a lot, but I reckon we can definitely do that pretty sharpish, guys. So every new subscriber would help. So if you help get me to 4K, guys, it would be greatly appreciated. And make sure you subscribe to Chelsea Fan TV as well, guys, if you haven't done so already. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Greatly appreciate it. I'll be back again tomorrow with another daily transfer update. Let's see what the day's got in hold for us. Let's hope there's some big breaking news on the Caicedo stuff. But ultimately, what will be will be. We'll go through the day's news tomorrow, so make sure you stay locked in for that one. Guys, as well, make sure you subscribe to Nina. The link is in the description. It's not even the link. Just click the app. It takes you straight to the channel. All you've got to do is press subscribe, and it massively helps. Right, have you hit? You're on 600 now?
Yeah, 600. Yeah, just I think it was yesterday. Yeah,
yesterday. No, there we go then. So yeah, Nina's on 6. Help Nina get to a K, guys. So all you got to do, go to the description, click the app, takes you to the channel. Make sure you subscribe. Don't just sit there and be like, "Oh, I might do that." Do it. Just do it, guys.
Do it.
It takes you seconds, so make sure you do that. But yeah, thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. Massively appreciate each and every single one of you. Nina, thanks for your time as always, guys. I'll be back tomorrow, as I said. Take care and up the Chelsea.